Well, the first rough trade shop was opened by Jeff Travis, and it was at 202 Kensington Park Road, which is just around the corner from here. This was in 1976, and Jeff, I think he just graduated from university, went to America, bought a load of second-hand records, bought them back and opened the original rough trade just around the corner from here. Yeah, 1976 it was. But I think he loved music, and I just thought maybe he thought there was a place that wasn't selling soul music and funk music and reggae music. And just after he opened it, it happened to coincide with punk rock sort of exploding, and so he got heavily involved in manufacturing, distribution really of punk, I guess, and independent music, and that was in 1976, 1977, and it all took off from there really, I think. I started at Rough Trade in 1982, I think it was. I was being a customer of the shop, and I was doing a postgraduate in landscape architecture. Couldn't get a job, and they offered me a job at the shop. In about 6 months after I started, the label and distribution, which had grown a lot by then, they were going to shut the shop because they said the shop wasn't making money. So the three of us who worked in the shop, me and Pete and Judith, we were only young, we were sort of 23 or so, and we decided we'd take on the shop. We offered to buy it from the label, and they said yes. And so we bought the shop from them. And then the landlords of 202 Kensington Park Road didn't want us to stay there, so we moved round here to 130 Talbot Road, and we've been here since 1982. And because we were young, no children, no mortgages, we just paid ourselves what we'd be paid on the dole, on the unemployment benefits. So we paid ourselves virtually nothing for the first few years, just so we could get everything up and running and established. And there's me and my two partners, Pete and Judith, at that time, yeah. He's upstairs at the moment, actually. But Judith, she retired a few years ago. These are all records that have been important to Rough Trade over the years, and we try and find music from all over the world, and I think it's all about attitude and about having the right kind of punk rock. It doesn't have to be punk rock in sound, but it's punk rock in attitude and being a bit fuck you. Another great record, Birthday Party, who Nick Cave, and when they were the Birthday Party, they were fantastic, and he is still making fantastic records now, even after all this time, and this is still sounds amazing. Well, after we moved into this shop here at Talbot Road, we decided to open another shop, so we opened one in Covent Garden in the centre. Then the lease came to an end. This was 5 years ago, and the property prices or the rents in central London were so high, we thought, well, we'll have a look around and see what else there is. And the space we had in Covent Garden, which is quite small, about the size of this shop, maybe a bit bigger, for the same amount of money we could get a warehouse in East London, so we thought we'd have a look there. And Covent Garden had become too mainstream, too touristy. When we moved there, it was quite an interesting area, quite rootsy, but it'd become too mainstream and just a bit too, not really Rough Trade. So we looked in East London and found the location for the East London shop, and so we opened that one there 5 years ago. How do we choose people to work for us? I mean, the most important thing, they have to love music, I think if you don't have that passion for music, it doesn't really work. As a retailer, these days, you have to have knowledge. Often we find people, one of the people who works here, Cordelia, her father and mother have been coming here since 1977, and now she works here. She's 22, 23. Her knowledge is unbelievable. She's fantastic, and she knows what Rough Trade's all about. She's been coming here since she was a kid, and she's perfect. She loves it here. She's so good. She's great with customers. There's still people out there who love music. There always has been. I think there always will be as well. And that's what we kind of rely on, I guess.
My dad's been a real loyal customer since the day one, really. My mum and dad were massive punk fans, so I was kind of brought up with that, you know, kind of punk lifestyle, as it were. And he and her have been shopping at Rough Trade for years. And one day I went in, and you know, Nigel's known me for years, and yeah, I went in one day and said, "Have you got any work experience?" And he said, "Yeah, come in on Wednesday. We'll see what we can do." And it started from there, and it's kind of, now I'm here full time, and I love it. Wouldn't be anywhere else. You know, you can take what you've learned from Rough Trade and apply it to all aspects of the music industry. You know, it's kind of like a baptism of fire. You know, you go straight into it. You're like fresh-faced young kid, straight into it, and you learn so much. You learn the kind of face-to-face side of things. All aspects of the job are great. Obviously, everyone does admin. Everyone does that. Every job you work in, everyone does that. But, you know, it's a necessary evil sometimes. But the best thing is selling, you know, meeting people face to face, meeting people from all over the world. You know, we had one guy yesterday that I was serving was from Australia. He was here on holiday, really wanted to come to Rough Trade, you know, and people from America, all over the world, and then people from up the road, you know, that real kind of mix that people I'd never thought I'd meet, you know. Producers, DJs, as well as sort of really interesting characters.
Rising price. Rations provide just enough to suffice for those lucky enough to devise a government that values human lives. Get short and things go what we value.
Well, I guess I'm really happy that we've been selling great music for such a long time, and we've kind of steered clear of we've tried to maintain our principles really, and we'll sell what we have to sell, but sometimes, you know, I just love selling great records. Sometimes you have to sell records you don't like, but most of the time you sell records you think are fantastic, and that's what I think is best. You know, we haven't sort of bent over to the man too much. I don't think we'd sell, you know, what we think is good. And you know, if a major label says, "Oh, you know, Universal say this is a great thing," and you think it's rubbish, you just sort of say, "Well, I'm sorry, there's not a lot we can do with it. We'll stock it." But you know, there's a difference between stocking something and really selling something, I think. And what we do is we kind of, you know, choose the wheat from the chaff, I guess, and say this is fantastic. It doesn't matter what label it is. You just think, oh, this is a great record. We're going to be able to sell loads of this.
There's only so much we can prepare, living a life in the crosshairs.